My name is Nikhil Barthwal. I'm a software engineer. I'm based out of Seattle, Washington. And I'm basically a backend guy, so I'm very interested in problems arising from distributed systems, both theory and implementations of it. Yeah, so the key takeaway is that most of us, we overlook the software design aspects, especially in distributed systems. Now, when we build our solutions to our problems, we talk about design and then we implement those solutions and we test their implementation. But the whole category of where there is something wrong with the design, we actually mostly overlook. And sometimes there could be very subtle bugs that can happen very intermittently that you may not notice in your regular talks. And this is the reason why we have a lot of production outages, right? Race conditions said they may happen 1 in a million times and it may not show up. So the key takeaway of my talk is that how would you prevent such bugs by modeling your system and testing that your design is correct even before you implement it. Absolutely, we can model embedded systems. TLA Plus is a little bit more geared towards distributed systems. So it has readily available constructs for that. So, these constructs, the embedded systems may not have readily available constructs, but that does not mean that you can't use TLA Plus. You still can, right? In fact, TLA Plus in general and formal methods particularly are broad mathematical sets that can be used to test pretty much anything and everything, right? So absolutely, there have been people who have used embedded systems, testing TLA Plus in embedded systems context, yes. Alloy is predominantly a satisfiability SAT solver. So actually, the class of problems that Alloy was built is a little bit different than TLA Plus. So I mentioned previously that TLA Plus is more geared towards distributed systems. Alloy actually, on the other hand, is a little bit geared towards general software, including embedded system. Effectively, they do the same thing. It's one of those questions of should I use C++ or Java to implement, they have their pros and cons, and one method would really be better than other, but that does not really mean that one is better than other, right? They have their own pros and cons. It's just a different formal technique. To me, what I find in industry is most of the people don't use anything, right? And that is the stuff that we should avoid. Now, whether you want to use TLA Plus or Alloy, that's up to you. Depends on your problem. Either way, you can't go too much wrong with them. ChatGPT and LLVM in model. Oh my God, I love it. So what happens with this ChatGPT is when I initially experiment with it, a lot of things that it said were wrong. And I was actually a little bit disappointed and I thought it is overhyped until I actually got true sense of what ChatGPT is. So what I tend to do when I find ChatGPT is that it gives me a structure of the code with some minor errors here and there or some minor details missing. So I can't take that answer as it is, but it does 80% of my job, not 100%. So the way I see ChatGPT is like an assistant. I mean, that's what good co-pilot is, right? Like an assistant to me that does all the mundane work. And then I, as a human, would think more in terms of higher level. So I build this architecture of the system. I use ChatGPT to give me the skeleton of the code, which I know is not going to be 100% correct, but I know it's 90% correct. And then I look through and I fix the remaining 10%. So it saves me a lot of time. So I know there is a lot of debate about, AI replacing human. Now, I don't know what the future is. Nobody can predict. But today, I don't see AI replacing human. I see AI helping human, or it's like an assistant to human more than replacing me. Yeah, so I think it's really conference. Conceptually, I actually like the concept of it. And I do like, and I have to say, the location, Malaga, is actually pretty good. It's really sunshine. So that is good. And why is because when I flew from Seattle, it was raining and cloudy. And it was very depressing weather. And I think when I landed in Malaga, I actually felt like a liberative feeling. The first thing I did was took off my jacket because I had a big jacket and I put my t-shirt and cap and my shorts. Today is the first day I'm actually putting my jeans, but otherwise I was in my short. And that's makes you happy. And when you're happy, you can learn with more open mind and absorb more information. So I think what I find unique about this conference as opposed to other conference is that the vibe is a little bit different. It's more like learn while having fun as opposed to learn. Thank you.